नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from Chaitanya Charitāmrta, Madhya lila. We are on chapter 10. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's return to Jagannath Puri. So far we have discussed after returning from South India, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he meets all the devotees. And before that, there was a conversation between Prataprudra Maharaj and Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. Prataprudra Maharaj was very eager to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he had heard that Mahaprabhu had delivered Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. Bhattacharya said, okay, there is a problem and Mahaprabhu is not here. I'll arrange for your meeting when he returns. Mahaprabhu returns in due course and he meets with all the devotees. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya introduces all the devotees to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhavananda Rai comes and meets with all his sons, his 4 sons. 5th one was Ramananda Rai. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejects Kal Krishnadas and all the devotees. They are thinking how to engage him again in service. They sent him to Navadvip to serve Shachi Mata. Then Paramanand Puri arrives in Jagannath Puri. Swarup Damodar Goswami arrives in Jagannath Puri. Kaviraj Goswami describes in detail about the glories of Swarup Damodar Goswami and Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya and Swarup Damodar Goswami. He describes the 10 aspects of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Helo Dhunit Khedaya Vishadaya Pronmiradamodaya Samyak Shastra Vishadaya Vishadaya Vivadaya Rasadaya Chittarpitonmadaya Sashwat Bhakti Vinodaya Samadaya Madhurya Marayadaya Sri Chaitanya Daya Nidetavadaya Bhuyad Mandodaya. So 10 aspects of mercy we heard. And then Govinda arrives, being sent by Ishwar Puri. And there was a discussion, how can I accept Govinda as my servant? He is my god brother. So Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya said, no, the instruction of the spiritual master always reigns supreme. So please accept him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Govinda as his servant. And we discussed the 150th verse. We'll continue from 151. Brahmananda Bharati arrives in Jagannath Puri, another wonderful devotee of the Lord. So another day, Mukunda Dutt informed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Brahmananda Bharati has come to see you. Shall I bring him here? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, he is like spiritual master. I should go and receive him. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees, they come in presence of Brahmananda Bharati. And Mukunda, he introduces Brahmananda Bharati to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees that Brahmananda Bharati is wearing a deer skin. And that makes him very unhappy. Srila Prabhupada writes, it is customary for a person who has renounced the world to wear to cover his body with a deer skin or the bark of a tree. That is mentioned in Manu Samhita. But the problem was, it is an injunction mentioned in Manu Smriti. But what was the problem? Prabhupada writes, the problem was if the sannyasi wears a deer skin or a tree bark only to show to the world that how renounced he is. If he is running after the prestige of the world and not concerned about developing relation with Krishna, then it is a problem. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could sense this in Brahmananda Bharati. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as he came in front of Brahmananda Bharati, Mukunda introduced him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he pretended that he is not seeing Brahmananda Bharati. He asks Mukund Dutt, where is Brahmananda Bharati, my spiritual master? Mukund Dutt says, here he is right in front of you. Mahaprabhu says, no, he cannot be Brahmananda Bharati. Why will Brahmananda Bharati wear a deer skin? You must be talking of someone else. This person cannot be Brahmananda Bharati. So when Brahmananda Bharati heard this, he thought, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he doesn't like this deer skin because he understands that I am wearing deer skin. He understood. Brahmananda Bharati understood. I am wearing deer skin only for prestige. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not happy with this. He's omniscient. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows everything. So he says, I cannot cross the ocean of material existence just by wearing a deer skin. Externals, they don't matter. A devotee, if he is not developing relation with Krishna and is focusing on the externals, then what is the use? As Bhaktivinoda Thakur would tell, Galera Kanthi, Mathere Tilak, Golera Kanthi, Eito Kalira Chela. So somebody may be dressed as a Vaishnava, but if somebody is not having his focus fixed on Krishna, then it is like Kalira Chela only. It will not help a devotee to advance in Krishna consciousness. So devotee is very careful. What is the intention? Otherwise, in due course of our practice of Krishna consciousness, name, fame, prestige, recognition, all these things will come. They are called as Bhakti Uttha Anartha. There is Sukrit Uttha Anartha, Dushkrit Uttha Anartha, Aparadh Uttha Anartha, and Bhakti Uttha Anartha. Dushkrit Uttha Anartha means those anarthas which are coming from past life sinful activities. Lust, anger, greed, all the sinful tendencies increase. Sukrit Uttha Anartha means those anarthas which arise because of the past life pious activities. Desire for name, fame, all these things increase. Sense gratification, more of the opportunities of sense gratification will come. Aparadh Uttha Anartha means the anartha which arises because of aparadh we do while doing Nam Seva, Vaishnav Seva, and Archa Vigraha Seva. Our desire for bhakti will go down because of those anarthas. And the fourth one is, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in Madhya Kadambini, Bhakti Uttha Anartha. Bhakti Uttha Anartha means those anarthas which arise because of bhakti. What kind of anartha can arise by bhakti? The avenues for name, fame, prestige, adoration, distinction, they increase. More and more people will come and appreciate a devotee. And as a result, a devotee may get caught in that appreciation, may forget the goal of life. And that is what Brahmananda Bharati is telling me. I cannot cross over material existence simply by wearing a deer skin. So from today on, I shall not wear this deer skin because Mahaprabhu is not approving of this. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he is Supreme Lord, he understood what is going on in the mind of Brahmananda Bharati. Immediately he sent someone to get the saffron robes for Brahmananda Bharati. Brahmananda Bharati put on all those saffron robes, and then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he accepted him. Mahaprabhu came, offered his obeisances at the feet of Brahmananda Bharati, and Brahmananda Bharati told him, you instruct the people of the world by your behavior. Therefore, from now on, I will not do anything which is against your wish. Otherwise, again you will neglect me, and I am very afraid of that. So then, Brahmanand Bharati, he understood that only Supreme Lord can do this. Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord who has delivered me. I was absorbed in impersonalism. Brahmananda Bharati tells, at present moment I can see two Brahmans. One Brahman is Lord Jagannath, he is not moving, he is stationary. Achala Brahma. And the other Brahman is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Chala Brahma. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is moving around, delivering people of the world, and Lord Jagannath is at one place in the form of Archa Vigraha. The two of you are same Brahman, and you are playing two parts. One is moving, one is not moving. Tumi Gaur Varna Teho Shyamala Varan, Dui Brahma Koila Saba Jagata Taran. The only difference is Tumi Gaur Varna and Jagannath is Shyamala Varna. He's black, you are golden. But the purpose is Dui Brahma Koila Saba Jagata Taran. You are delivering the entire universe by your mercy, both of you. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, actually, to tell you the truth, because you are there in Jagannath Puri, there are two Brahmans. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never accepted that he is Supreme Lord because he has come in the mood of a devotee. He counter argues and says, no, because you are present, therefore two Brahman are there. Sri Prabhupada writes, Brahmananda Bharati wanted to prove that there is no difference between Supreme Lord and Jiva. Whereas Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to prove that he and Brahmananda, they are Jivas. And although the Jiva are Brahman, there are many Jivas. But Supreme Lord is one. He is Param Brahman. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to establish that I am an ordinary living entity. How can you tell that I am Brahman? How can you compare me with Supreme Lord? He is the supreme unlimited Brahman. We are insignificant living entities. On the other hand, Brahmananda Bharati wanted to prove that Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are one, which was actually the case. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a supreme Brahman himself. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared to fulfill the mission of Hena Prema Sri Caitanya Dila Jatha Tatha Jagaya Madhya Paryant Aneraka Katha. He has come to give the supreme love of God to anyone and everyone. Jagaya Madhya Paryant. That is the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Brahmanand Bharati says, and there is a discussion going on. Mahaprabhu is saying, no, you are Brahman and I am an insignificant living entity because you are a great devotee of the Lord. So then Brahmananda Bharati turns to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, says, oh my dear Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, please become the mediator and solve the problem. Brahmananda Bharati says, the living entity is localized and Supreme Brahman is all pervading. That is the verdict of all the scriptures. Yes. Kshetragyam chapimam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetragyayor evam antaram jnana chakshusha. Krishna tells in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 3rd verse. There are two kshetragyas. A living entity, kshetragya, and the Supreme Lord is also kshetragya. But Supreme living entity is kshetragya of only one body. Lord is all pervading. He is the kshetragya of all the bodies. So Brahmananda Bharati is saying Supreme Lord is all pervading and Jiva is limited. Lord is everywhere. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham. So, and I can understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that all pervasive Brahman because he understood my thoughts. Only Parabrahma can know all the Kshetragya, all the Kshetra. Otherwise, how he knew what is my thought process? He took away my deer skin. That proves that he is all pervasive Brahman. And I am subordinate Brahman. So Brahmananda Bharati wanted to prove that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is supreme Brahman and he is the subordinate Brahman. And to prove that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord himself, he quotes this verse from Mahabharata, Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra spoken by Bhishma Dev. Swarnavarna Hemango Varangas Chandanangade Sannyasa Krishna Mashyanta Nishta Shanti Parayana. Swarnavarna, his bodily hue is golden. Hemanga, his whole body is like molten gold. Varangas Chandanangadi, and his body is beautifully constructed. Varanga, beautifully constructed body. Mahaprabhu would attract everyone by his beauty. His beauty was his weapon. He would attract everyone by his beauty and youth and his effulgence. That's how he attracted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was saying, he's such a young sannyasi. How will he continue his sannyas vows? Nirantariha ke Vedanta Shunaiba Vairagya Dvaita Margi Pravesha Karaiba. He is proud of Yauvan. He is at the peak of his youth. How will he maintain his sannyas? Varangas Chandanangadi, and his body is covered with sandalwood pulp. Sannyasakrit, he takes sannyas. Shrama Shanta, he is always equipoised. Nishtha Shanti Parayana. Is firmly fixed, Nishtha. There is only one purpose of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, and he's fixed in that purpose. He's fixed in his mission of delivering this Hare Krishna mantra to anyone and everyone. Nishtha. That is the hope of for all of the living entities. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Nishtha, Shanti, Parayan. Is firmly situated in the conclusions and in peace. People of the world, they want to be peaceful. But the problem is, they don't know how to be peaceful. As Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Nasti buddhi rayuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shantir ashantasya kuta sukham. Na asti buddhi ayukta. If the intelligence of a person is not fixed in Krishna, if his mind is not fixed in Krishna, how can a person be? Nacha bhavayata shanti. There is no shanti, peace. And a restless person can never be happy. Ashantasya kuta sukham. So therefore, nishtha, shanti, parayan. Real peace comes when we connect to the Supreme Lord by the process of devotional service, when we serve the Lord. So Brahmananda Bharati is quoting this verse. It has all the symptoms mentioned in this verse from Mahabharata is visible in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His body is very beautiful. He is having sandalwood paste decorating his body. And he is wearing thread around his hands, which are the Mahaprasad of the Lord Jagannath. They are the ornaments. That means he is a supreme Lord. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he is a mediator. He says, Brahmananda Bharati, you are victorious. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yes, I accept whatever Brahmananda Bharati has said. And I am quite all right with whatever is said. But then, why Mahaprabhu is accepting? Because so far, he never accepted anyone who tells that Mahaprabhu is Lord. Why he is telling that, yes, I accept whatever you are saying. He posed himself as disciple. And he respected Brahmananda Bharati as Guru, as spiritual master. And he told, whatever spiritual master says has to be right. There can never be any wrong, anything wrong. spoken by spiritual masters. So therefore, I accept. Our disciple is defeated. Brahmananda Bharati says, no, that is not the cause of your defeat. There is another cause. Now, uh, Brahmananda Bharati, he poses himself as a devotee. Bhakta thai har tumi ye tomara swabhava, ar ek shun tumi apana prabhava. Your nature is that you accept defeat from your devotee. Bhakta thai har tumi. Krishna accepts a defeat from his devotees. He likes that. And then he says, there is another reason. There is another glory of your character, O my Lord. Please hear attentively. So first of all, he says, because you are accepting defeat from my hand, that shows that you are the Lord. Evam sandarshita hiyanga harina bhrityavashyata swavashena vikrishena yasyedam saishwaram vashe. The Lord manifests so many pastimes in Vrindavan to prove that Harina Vrityavashyata. The Lord comes under the control of his devotee. That Supreme Lord who is controlling all the controllers of the universe, he comes under the control of his devotee. And then he says there is another reason. I was an impersonalist from the beginning of my birth. Ajanma korinumui nirakara dhyan. Toma dekhi Krishna hoila mora vidyaman. From my birth, I was absorbed in impersonalistic monism. Toma dekhi, just by having your darshan, I have experienced Krishna. Srila Prabhupada writes, Brahmananda Bharati was in the role of the spiritual master of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling that a disciple is always defeated by Guru. But Brahmananda Bharati reverses the argument saying, no, you have accepted defeat because the Lord always accepts defeat from the hands of the devotee. Prabhupada quotes, in Mahabharata, Lord Krishna had taken a vow that he will not lift weapon. But when Bhishma took a vow that today I take a vow that either I'll kill Arjun or Krishna will have to lift the weapon. So Krishna, he had to fulfill the words of Bhishma and he had to protect his devotee Arjun also. He lifted a weapon. Prabhupada quotes a prayer by Bhishma Dev. So that's how Brahmananda Bharati is saying, no, it is a proof. Because you are accepting defeat from my hand, that shows that you are the Lord. He continued. Krishna nama spure mukhe mone netre Krishna toma ke tadarupa dekhi hridaya sa Krishna. Krishna nama spure mukhe. After I have seen you, since I have seen you, Krishna nama spure mukhe. Krishna, the name of Krishna is spontaneously coming from my mind, from my mouth. I'm always chanting the name of Krishna. And Krishna is always manifesting in front of my eyes. Mane, netre, Krishna. In my mind, Krishna is always there. I can see Krishna before my eyes. Tomake tadarupa dekhi. And over and above this, in my heart, I understand that you are that Krishna. Tomake tadarupa dekhi hridaya satrishna. And therefore I am really eager to serve you. I understand that you are Krishna. Therefore I want to serve you. He tells how Bilva Mangal Thakur, he was also an impersonalist in his early stage of life. But just like he gave up his impersonalism, I can also see that My impersonalistic behavior was destroyed by your mercy. Srila Prabhupada writes, in his early age, Bilva Mangal Thakur was an impersonalist. But then, later he became a devotee of Krishna. So sometimes a devotee, he goes to all the various stages of spiritual development from Brahman, then Paramatma, then Bhagwan. The condition of a devotee who has seen all these things, he actually understands there is nothing there. The happiness which I am getting in bhakti, that happiness is million times more. The bhakti ananda is more, million times more than Brahmananda. What to speak of Jadananda? Jadananda is not in question only. Brahmananda is million times more than Jadananda, and Bhaktiananda is million times more than Brahmananda. Prabhupada quotes this verse from Prabodhananda Saraswati's composition. Prabodhananda Saraswati says, Kaivalyam narakayate tridashpura akasha pushmayate durdant indriya kala sarva patali protkhat damstrayate Vishwam Purna Sukhayate Vidhi Mahindradishcha Kitayate Yat Karunya Kataksha Vaibhavatam Gauram Tam Gauram Evastu Maha. Kaivalyam Narakayate, for a devotee, impersonal liberation is hell. Tridashpur Akasha Pushpayate, it is like phantasmagoria, will o' the wisp, flowers in the sky. It is of no existence. For a devotee, his senses are like the snakes with broken fangs. Durdant Indriya, although Indriya, the senses are impossible to control. Durdanta. Dant means control, Durdant means difficult to control. Durdant Indriya Kala Sarpa Patali Prokhat Damstrayate. For a devotee, his senses are like serpents with broken fangs. They don't disturb a devotee. The senses of a materialistic person takes one to the lowest of the destinations. But the senses of a devotee takes them close to Krishna. Therefore, a devotee sees Krishna everywhere. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. For a devotee, because he sees Krishna everywhere, Sthavara Jangam Dekhi, Na Dekhi Tara Murti, Sarvatra Hoy, Nij Ishta Deva Spurti. He is not seeing the moving and immoving things of the world. He is seeing Krishna everywhere. And therefore, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. Tridashpura Akasha Pushpayate. All the three planetary systems, they are imaginary. It doesn't matter for a devotee. This is all possible by Yat Karunya Kataksha Vaibhavatam Tam Gaurame Vastumaha. This is possible only by the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is the power of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Srila Prabhupada quotes a few more verses from Caitanya Chandrodak Natak, describing how a devotee rejects liberation, how a devotee is interested only in serving Krishna. Prabhupada writes, a discussion of impersonal Brahman is not very palatable for a devotee. The so-called scriptures, rules and regulations also appear null and void to him. There are many people who argue over the scriptures, but for a devotee, all this argument is just a tumultuous roaring. They don't make any sense for a devotee because the devotee is absorbed in Krishna. All the various arguments and debates mentioned in scriptures, they are of no use. So Brahmananda Bharati concluded, so although I was worshipper of monism, absorbed in self-realization, But he is actually quoting a verse written by Bill Mangal Thakur. That Bill Mangal Thakur is telling that I was absorbed in monism, impersonal realization, but I have nonetheless forcibly turned by a cunning boy who is always joking with the gopis. So that is how Bill Mangal Thakur tells. And we know the famous verse Srila Prabhupada would quote many times, where Bill Mangal Thakur says, after I have started serving Krishna, this Mukti, she is standing in front of me with folded hands, ready to serve me. Mukti swayam mukulitanjali sevyate sman dharmartha kama gataya samaya pratiksha. What to speak of dharmartha kama moksha? Mukti is standing in front with folded palms. After hearing all this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kahe Krishna tomar gadha prema hoye, yaha netra pade taha Shri Krishna spuray. Mahaprabhu is so very wonderful. He says, it is not my glory, it is your glory. You have such faith, such attachment, such love for Krishna. Yaha netra pade taha Krishna spuray. You are seeing Krishna in me because that is our devotee is. He sees Krishna everywhere. Sarvam Bhattacharya says, well, hearing both of you, I can understand that both of you are correct. Bhattacharya कहे दोहार सुसत्य वचन आगे यदि कृष्ण देन साक्षात दर्शन. Both of you are correct. Krishna gives direct audience through his mercy. So now Sarvam Bhattacharya is citing Brahmananda Bharati. You are telling that Brahmananda Bharati is such a great devotee, he is seeing Krishna everywhere. But nobody can see Krishna without his mercy. Prema bina kabhu nahe tara sakshatkar, ihara kripate hoye darshana ihar. Without developing love for Krishna, one cannot see Krishna. And one cannot see Krishna without the mercy of Krishna. Therefore, because Brahmananda Bharati is an advanced devotee of the Lord and he is seeing Krishna everywhere, it is by your mercy that he is able to see Krishna. Srila Prabhupada writes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Brahmananda Bharati was an advanced devotee and he loved Krishna, therefore he is seeing Krishna everywhere. Sarvam Bhattacharya, he was a mediator. And his judgment was Brahmananda Bharati was able to see Krishna because Krishna showed mercy. And Krishna was present right in front of him as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he had shown mercy. That's why he is seeing, that's why Brahmananda Bharati is seeing Krishna everywhere. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanini. So now Mahaprabhu is caught. He had no other alternative. He said, Prabhu kahe Vishnu Vishnu ki kaha sarva bhauma ati stuti hoy nindara lakshana. He folded his ear, held his ears, Vishnu Vishnu. Save me, O my Lord. What are you saying, O Sarvabhaum? Too much glorification is actually an insult. It is a blasphemy. Such glorification is actually blasphemy. It is not a glorification. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually embarrassed hearing his own glorification. So he closed his ears. Vishnu, Vishnu, please save me. Srila Prabhupada writes, the Lord confirms that if one is overestimated, glorification is just another form of blasphemy. It is quite natural. If somebody is glorified beyond the limits, it is not a glorification. it becomes a blasphemy. It is indirect way of insulting that devotee, that person. That person is not even able to uh, stand properly, and somebody says, "Wow, you are walking so nicely." It is not a glorification; it is an insult. So too much glorification is blasphemy. So Mahaprabhu, he was very embarrassed. And in this way, after having all these wonderful discussions, Mahaprabhu took Brahmananda Bharati with him to his residence. And from that day on, Brahmananda Bharati stayed with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. Gradually, all the devotees, they started coming to Jagannath Puri to have darshan and to stay with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ramabhadra Acharya, Bhagavan Acharya, then Kashishwar Goswami, they all came to stay. Kashishwar, he was very strong physically. Whenever Mahaprabhu would go to take darshan of Lord Jagannath, all the devotees of Jagannath Puri, they would just want to take dust from the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, touch Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kashishwar, with his both hands, he would keep everyone away. He was like the bodyguard. So Kashishwar, he had this seva. He would walk ahead the Lord, he would walk in front of the Lord, and he would keep all the crowd away, so that Mahaprabhu can peacefully walk, take darshan of the Lord, and come back. Kaviraj Goswami writes, so many devotees were coming to Jagannath Puri, just like the rivers, they enter into oceans. Hundreds and hundreds of devotees were coming and staying with Lord in Jagannath Puri. And Mahaprabhu, he showed all of them their mercy, his mercy. He kept all of them under his protection. Kaviraj Goswami describes what is the falastuti of hearing all this wonderful discussion. Veita kohila prabhur vaishnava milan ihayeshu nepai chaitanya charan. Anyone who hears this wonderful episode of Mahaprabhu meeting with all the devotees, whoever speaks this, whoever hears this, by Chaitanya Charan, they ultimately attain the shelter of lotus feet, shelter of Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. That's the end of this chapter. And Kaviraj Goswami ends this chapter like every chapter by offering obeisances to Rupa Raghunath. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Aras Chaitanya Caritāmrta Kahe Krishna Das. And then starts the next chapter, the 11th chapter, which is called as Veda Kirtan Pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is another beautiful section describing the wonderful pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the beginning, in this chapter, we'll see Mahaprabhu, he is not agreeing to give darshan to Prataprudra Maharaj. Sarvam Bhattacharya really tried, but still, Mahaprabhu said, if you will say this again, I'll leave from this place. You will not be able to see me again. Then Ramananda arrived. And wonderful conversation happened between Ramananda Rai and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The entire description is given. Then Prataprudra Maharaj, he is really getting anxious. He requests, please go and request Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give his darshan. So Sarvam Bhattacharya encourages the king, yes, don't worry, it will happen. In Rath Yatra, you go, you sweep the Lord's Rath, the road in front of Lord's Rath, into Gundicha margin, and then you read this Ras Panchadhyaya on the day of Rath Yatra, and you will surely receive the mercy of the Lord. So that's how so many wonderful stories, pastimes happen in this chapter. So this chapter begins, like all the other chapters, by glorification of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes, अत्युद्दण्डं ताण्डवं गौरचन्द्र कुर्वन् भक्तैः श्रीजगन्नाथगेहे नानाभावालङ्कृताङ्गस्वधाम्ना चक्रे विश्वं प्रेमवन्या निमग्नम्. अति उद्दण्डं ताण्डवम्. The Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he danced exquisitely. He jumped up and down, jumped very high. Ati uddanda Gaurachandra. He danced in such a wonderful way. That is called as Veda Kirtan. The Lord manifesting many forms and dancing in front of Lord Jagannath. Veda Kirtan pastimes. Ati uddandam tandavam Gaurachandra Kurwan Bhaktai Sri Jagannath Gehe, along with all the devotees and the temple of Sri Jagannath. Lord danced such wonderfully. And Nana Bhava Alankritangaha, he manifested all the ecstatic symptoms in his body. Shwed, Kampa, Romanch, Ashru, Gadgad, Vaivarnya, Unmad, Vishad, Garva, Harsha, Dainya. All these symptoms of ecstasy were manifesting. Nobody had ever seen such ecstatic symptoms. Nana Bhav Alankritanga Swadhamna. By the influence of his own ecstatic love, he manifested all these ecstatic symptoms. Chakre Vishwam Prema Vanyani Magnam. And in this way, he drowned the entire world in ecstatic love of Krishna. That was the purpose of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appearing in this world. He has appeared only for one purpose. Chakre Vishwam Prema Vanyani Magnam. That is the purpose of Panchatattva. Say Panchatattva Mili Prathaviya Siya Purve Prema Bhandarira Mudra Udhadiya Panche Mili Lute Prema Korea Swadan Yata Yata Piye Trishna Bade Anukshan. They have come, they have broken the seal of love of God, distributing this to everyone, tasting themselves. Mayadevi tells, after she becomes a disciple of Haridas Thakur, Maya dasi prema mage itthai ki vismay sadhu kripa nama bina prema na upajay. Maya dasi is asking for prema from Haridas Thakur. That previously I was initiated in Ram Nam by Lord Shiva. Now I want Krishna Nam Diksha from you. It is all possible by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Chaitanya avatare vahe premamrita vanya sab jiva preme bhase prithvi hoila dhanya jai banyaye jena bhase se jiva char koti janme kabutar nahi kanistan. Mahaprabhu's mercy, Chaitanya avatar vahe prema amrit vanya. The river of love of God is flowing. Sabajiva preme bhase, and he wants to drown everyone in this river of love of God. But if somebody is unfortunate and doesn't get drowned in this, there's no hope for him. Koti janme kabutara nahi kanistan. He will not be delivered in millions of lives. If in this life, after getting this wonderful opportunity, if somebody doesn't get liberated, there is no hope for him. Kaviraj Goswami continues, offers obeisances to Panchatattva. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavrinda. The next day, Sarvam Bhattacharya, he requested Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to have permission to submit a request without fear. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, you can please submit whatever your request is, don't have fear. But don't expect me to accept the request. If the request is suitable, I'll accept it, otherwise I'll reject it. You can speak without any fear. Sarvam Bhattacharya, he says, Saro Bhauma Kahe Pratap Rudra Rai Utkantha hoiya chetoma milibare chai. This King Pratap Rudra Rai, he is very, very eager to have your darshan. Utkantha hoiche tomar milibare chai. He is very, very eager to have your darshan. We all have heard eagerness is a price we have to pay. Tatra laulyam api mulyam. But even after showing eagerness, Krishna will surely test the devotee. Every one of us will be tested in three things. Will be tested in our eagerness to hear Harikatha. Will be tested in our understanding of philosophy. Will be tested in our loyalty towards the path of bhakti. So here, Mahaprabhu is royally testing Pratap Rudra Maharaj Tikam. He really tests him. How eager you are. So this whole story of Pratap Rudra Maharaj getting mercy of the Lord, it is a story of test of a devotee. How eager we are to get the mercy of the Lord. And will be tested to the max. And ultimately, when problems will come, when the test will come, it may seem that at some time, I think I'll not be able to pass this test. But still, if we hang on, having that faith, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna iti Vishwasapalam. Krishna wants us to pass this test. And that's why he has given this test. Any tests coming in the life of a devotee, Krishna never tests a devotee beyond his capacity. That is the faith a devotee should have. And all our tests, all the apparent obstacles, all the reversals, all the anarthas coming in our life, they are meant for one purpose. To make one more and more focused in the path of bhakti, more and more grateful to Krishna for giving us this, so that we can remember him. Otherwise, when things are normal, we don't remember Krishna with that intensity. That's how a devotee grows. Our response is of gratitude. The more we are grateful for good things in our life, to that extent we'll be grateful for wrong things in our life. We'll understand that it is all Krishna's arrangement. Otherwise, just like Parikshit Maharaj in his humility, for him it is his humility, for us it is reality. Parikshit Maharaj says, Tasya eva meghasya paravaresho vyasakta chittasya grihesho bhikshanam nirvedam mulo dvijashaparupo yatra prasakto bhayamashu dhatte. He says, I was so absorbed in family life, so sinful. Krishna, he mercifully brought me out of this. Nirvedam mulo dvijashaparupo. Otherwise, I would have never left the family attachments. Yatra prasakto bhayamashu dhatte. So, tests will come in the life of a devotee. And Pratap Rudra Maharaj is really getting tested here. He's again and again expressing, I want to meet, I want to have darshan. And Sarvam Bhattacharya is telling, he's requesting, oh Lord, please give him mercy. He's really eager to have the darshan. Again, Mahaprabhu immediately covered his ears and says, oh Sarvabhaum, why are you making such request? You know, I am a sannyasi, and it is not befitting a sannyasi to have darshan of king. Virakta sannyasi amara raj darshan, stri darshana samavishera bhakshana. For a sannyasi to have darshan of a materialistic king and darshan of a women, it is like drinking poison. And then he quotes this verse from Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya. Very, very powerful verse. Nishkinchanasya bhagavad bhajanonmukasya param param jigimashor bhavasagarasya sandarshanam vishayina matayoshitamcha ha hanta hanta vishabhakshanatopya sadhu. Nishkinchanasya, a person who is nishkinchan, who has no material motives, bhagavat bhajanonmukhasya, and he is on the path of worshipping Krishna, serving Krishna, param param jigimasho. He has the desire to cross this bhavasagarasya. Three things. Who has no ulterior motives, who is serving Krishna, and he wants to cross this material ocean. He has to avoid two things. Sandarshanam Vishainam Matayoshitam cha. To have darshan of a materialist and a darshan of a woman. It is more deadly than drinking poison. So for a sannyasi, they are abominable. They have to be really careful. Srila Prabhupada writes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enunciates the principles of a sannyasi. Spiritual advancement is not meant for magic shows and word jugglery. Very straightforward, Prabhupada is writing here. Many spiritual leaders, they are into this. They show some magic. They are expert in word jugglery and they make so many followers. People start worshipping them as God. That is not the purpose of sannyas. The sannyas is meant for param param jigimasho bhavasagarasya. It is meant to cross the ocean of material existence. But the problem is, general population, they do not know anything about spiritual life. They think anything other than normal is spiritual. If I get to learn how to live better in a different way, that is spiritual. Spiritual activity, spiritual advancement means stopping all material activities and focusing on Krishna. That is bhakti yoga. And such a man, such a sannyasi, Prabhupada writes, should never see a man who is materialistic or a woman. They are very dangerous. Sarvam says, well, whatever you are saying is right, but he is not a Vishay. He is the best of a devotee. Sarvabhaum kahe satya tomara vachan, Jagannatha sevak raja kintu bhaktottam. You're saying right, but the good thing is, this king is not a sense gratifier. He is Jagannath Sevak Raja. He is servant of Lord Jagannath and he is Bhakta Uttam. He is the best of the devotees. But still, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to show the highest of the standards. Prabhu kahe tathapi Raja kala sarpakar kashtha nari sparsheche upaje vikar. Whatever you are saying may be right, but still, because he is a king, he is dangerous. He may not be a materialist, but still, to associate with a king is dangerous because he is dealing with all the material things of the world. It is just like even if one touches the wooden form of a woman, that also agitates the mind. So one has to be really careful. Srila Prabhupada writes, everyone knows that the snake is venomous and dangerous. Even if the snake is decorated with a jewel on his head, but still, it is dangerous. It is not that, oh, snake has jewel on his head, he is not dangerous. No, it is not like that. However qualified a materialist may be, he is dangerous. That's the highest standard which Mahaprabhu is sitting here. So practice of spiritual life is really, really walking on a razor's edge. In today's day and age, to apply all these principles may be impossible. But the principles remain the same. It is not about the person. There is no fault of the person. There is no fault of the materialistic man or a devotee king or a woman. The problem is in our mind. Because the mind is full of the impressions of the past conditionings, mind can catch hold of anything. That's what Prabhupada writes in the purport here. One should never think that the mind is trained. That's like you can never trust a snake. However trained a snake may be, you cannot never trust the snake. Similarly, a devotee should never trust the mind. Therefore, better to be careful, better to be always alert. A devotee, he is like a small forest animal, always alert and very small. A small forest animal knows that I can be caught anytime, like some big animal will come and eat me up. No overconfidence, always alert. Prabhupada writes, mind is always with his six friends. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsari. They are our enemies. And our devotee should never trust the mind. Always be careful in handling the mind. Never be overconfident. Otherwise, at any moment, the mind can catch hold of any previous impressions and then create a whole another story out of it. We have to be really careful. And then Srila Prabhupada writes, how to control the mind? How to keep the mind always under control? By always attentively chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Otherwise, at any moment, mind can strike. Prabhupada continues. Akaradapi bhetavyam srinam vishayinam yatha aher manasa shobha tatha tasya kriterapi. One who is endeavoring for self-realization, strinam and vishayinam. One should be very, very careful while dealing with opposite gender and while dealing with sense objects. Now, while dealing with sense materialists. In fact, we should not even glance at their bodily features. It is like dealing with a live serpent. One has to be very careful always. Therefore, after telling all this, Mahaprabhu tells Sarvam Bhattacharya, if you continue speaking like this, I will leave, you will not be able to see me again. And please don't make such request anymore. Sarvam Bhattacharya, he became very afraid hearing this. He left the place and he started thinking what to do now. So we'll stop here. We'll continue next time. Anybody has any questions? I think there is a question in the chat. Why is the glorification of the speaker of blasphemy? Is it because it enhances the falsity of the speaker? It is not about the glorification of the speaker. If the glorification is much beyond what is reality. I give the example of a person who is not able to walk, and the person says, oh, you are walking so nicely. You are walking in the most beautiful way. That is a blasphemy. That is not a glorification. So therefore, the glorification is according to the work a person does, according to the quality of the person, then it is good. Otherwise, it is like insulting this person. So that's all. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody else? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.